Hello and welcome to Hunter's Go Home video. He was a very energetic,
Hunter
very
down.
smart, very willing to work, happy to work boy.
No.
Here I'm practicing some obedience while we're playing fetch. So in between throws, I ask for a sit or a down. It usually has to be reinforced with the E-collar stem on continuous whenever he breaks the position because he's so in drive that he's so focused on the ball and nothing else. This is a really long place stay while we're watching TV. He did great. I think he broke twice, but he goes right back as soon as you repeat the command and push the continuous stem button, or just repeat the command and gesture back towards the bed. He's pretty good at fixing himself when he breaks commands. Hunter's impulse control has gotten quite good. You can see at the beginning of this, he's a little pushy, but he very quickly figures out that I would prefer him to be in a down and offers that to me.
Down.
I then put him into a down, treat him on the ground between his front paws so he doesn't feel like he has to meet me halfway.
Leave it.
And I kneel, which is already hard for dogs to not break their command when somebody kneels. And then I put, it's pretty high value treats. I think it's pepperoni and cheese cubes.
Don't even quote me on that.
And I ask him to leave it, and then I free him and throw the food the other way. This is really decently high value food. This is, I think it's sliced turkey lunch meat, and he has never had this before, at least with me. We have not trained with it before, so he's very, very interested in it. And so I don't blame him for being a little too into it, but he remembers quickly the leave it game that we played. This is some general obedience training. He's in a downstay.
Hunter, down.
He broke, and so I asked him to down again, and as soon as he got out of the down, I pressed the continuous stem button on a low level, and then released it as soon as he went back into a down. So I'm probably on a level 11 here. Sometimes the level does need to go up when he's in more distracting environments, or when he's in toy drive, or when he's just overexcited, which is frequently. So with him, I always have to be very nonchalant. If my voice goes too high or too excited, or I move in a too excited way, or I try to pet him as a reward, he's easily thrown over a threshold and overexcitable. So you'll kind of catch on in this video that I say things very matter-of-factly. I say, yes, good job, Hunter. I don't know if you'll see me reach to pet him at all. I did pet him, obviously, while he was with me, but not while we're working, because it just is a little too much for him and sets him off into an overstimulated sort of mindset. So I reward on the place bed because I want the association to be with the place bed, not with me necessarily. And here I'm testing him. A lot of dogs break when their handlers kneel down like this, because that's how you greet a dog. That's how you get on their level. But he's very good at not breaking for that. I grab a ball and test out his impulse control. It's a lot better than I expected, with some work put behind it, obviously. But he does great, so I reward him with food on the bed. He has great attention, too. Amazing attention and focus. That was great choice on his part, so I reward him on the bed. And honestly, he works for kibble. He's excited to work for kibble. I didn't have to use high value treats for very long. It's better to use higher value treats for stuff like this if you're first starting to do it. However, he was working for kibble here, I believe. And then I reward him with the ball after he does what I asked by staying on the place bed. I did transfer his placed command to a soft bed as well. It's a little harder for him because I don't think he knows he has a body. His paws tend to hang off the edge, or his butt tends to hang off the edge. So that may need a little bit of work if that's something that is a detail to you that you care about. But typically he stays on the bed pretty well. As I said in the other video, though, I prefer cots. You can see that we're working on a level 11 here. That's his typical indoor working level now. He did start at a 5, but an 11 is much more motivational to him because it seems like he's a working line dog. He has a high tolerance and a high drive for many things. But a level 11 seems to work well for him indoors and sometimes outdoors. So I don't know if you guys do like stuffed Kongs or snuffle mats or slow feeder bowls or any like enrichment stuff like that, but he loves it so much. He had so much fun doing enrichment stuff here to eat. Most of his meals he either worked for or he ate out of a snuffle mat or a Kong or out of a wobble toy that dispensed treats, you know, as he bumped it with his nose. And it slows him down eating, which is great because he eats very quickly. He's very food driven. And it works their brain mentally, so they're a little bit mentally tired afterwards as well. And this is great for working with Blueberry as well and with Hunter, because you can go in and add more treats and higher value food as they're eating on it. So it builds an association that when you come by, it means good things, like a higher value treat is added to what they're already eating. And to work on Blueberry's resource guarding, you can also feed Blueberry on a snuffle mat and Hunter on a snuffle mat, or both out of a slow feed bowl, as long as you have control of the situation, and then go in and add higher value reward or more kibble or something like that to both of their bowls so that they both have a positive association with you approaching, you coming near the food, and also with the other dog in the area while they're eating. So that they don't feel like they have to protect what they have because, you know, while they're eating there with the other dog there, they're getting more food or higher value food and stuff like that. Here are some Hunter door manners. There, he tried to bolt before I told him he could. Which we're working on his impulse control. He's gotten a lot better at it, but sometimes he makes tiny mistakes, and you can see I just closed the door and he went right back into a sit. Here's a nice heel towards the front door.
Good boy.
And actually the screen door
door's
was already open, so I didn't need to open it.
Free. Good boy.
Which is great that he has this command. Or it's not really a command, I just wait for him to sit at the door and then only release him through the door when he's calm and he stays in that sit. This is our last walk together. You can hear when I say the word heel. You can see when I give him a leash correction. He is on a flat color here. Both dogs are great on flat colors when they are walking alone, just me and them. But when they walk together, Hunter does a little better on a prong because he is a bit reactive to his surroundings. On occasion, he's much less reactive without Blueberry there. But you can see that I gave him a free command, so he was allowed to walk around and go potty and sniff and do all the things dogs love to do. When you do take him for walks, it would be beneficial to bring treats if you wanted to, and just reward him every time he looks up and checks in with you, because he does do that quite frequently, and that is a good behavior that we want to reward. But I don't personally use treats on walks. The reward for walking politely is walking forward, because dogs don't really want to go back where they came from. So his reward is going forward. And then I release him. And then he pulls on me, so I give him a short tug, a little pop and release back. And then we do some outside work.
Hi, Hunter.
So I actually just released him here. I did not know if there was a ball in the yard or not. I didn't think so. But he decided to go off and explore. And I used that as an opportunity to try a recall on him.
Hunter, come. Yes.
And I do have
Good
his
boy.
e-collar on right now.
Yes, good boy. There's a good boy. Free.
And you can see the remote in my hand. So what I did is I stemmed him on probably,
you found one.
it's between
Nice.
an 11
Very
and a
nice.
15.
Down.
Just enough to get his attention a little bit, and then say
Good
his
boy.
name and his recall word, which
You
is
did
come,
find a ball. Look at
and
you.
then
Look
turn
at
off the
you.
stem as soon
He's a
as
good
he
boy.
dedicates himself to coming back to me. And he did great.
Good boy.
And then he did find a ball.
Sit.
So we worked a little bit on
Free.
obedience while,
Remote.
please excuse me dropping the e-collar remote there. We worked
Yeah,
on
this is a good
obedience
boy.
while
This is a
we
good
were
boy.
playing ball. So he is
That's a
required
good boy. Good job.
typically to sit or to down or at least obey some sort of command or
Good
be
job,
polite
buddies.
before I throw the ball again. And I never throw the ball when he is barking because I
Down.
did not personally want to reward that
Down.
behavior.
Free. I don't even have to use the remote.
Here's our short walk with Juno. He did very well. These dogs still haven't met each other. I just don't think they'd be great play partners. But Juno is a great obedience dog. He's got a great heel. And Hunter was doing super well, and I wanted to try him with Juno before I tried him with Blueberry, and they did amazing. We're just working on basic obedience here, just showing exactly what he learned. So he learned a verbal sit. He has gotten very proficient at it. He learned a verbal down. So you can see I don't use any hand motions or any body motions. I simply say the word down, and he is happy to comply. His down is one of the cutest things. So I put him into a sit. I walk around a little bit. Again, it's an implied stay, and he breaks it, so I stem him and repeat the sit command, and he goes right back into the sit. I walk around a little bit more, and then I reward him when I get back to him, and then I free him.
That was cute.
I ask for a verbal down.
Good down.
Sometimes I treat him as he goes down, sometimes I don't. I do want to vary the reward he has because I want him to be able to work without the reward, but occasionally still give him that reward so that the positive association is still there and he's still getting a paycheck for his work. So he's just doing a downstay here. I'm walking around the living room. His attention is amazing. He's just waiting for me to give him his release word.
Good down. Good place.
There's a verbal place with a little bit of a gesture just to show him which place I'm talking about. Because we did use a couple different place beds. I have probably about 4 or 5 place beds situated around the house. So it can be a little difficult if I just say place and then don't gesture to where I'm asking him to go. It's just a little bit clearer of communication. We are on a level 20 at the moment. He was not before I showed this, the remote in the video, but now he is because I know he's gonna need it for the distraction of the ball bouncing. So I put him in a downstay, and he can do this. Sometimes it takes a couple reps before he remembers and understands, but he has gotten pretty proficient at staying in a downstay, even with the ball bouncing within 1 to 2 feet of him, which I think is amazing, considering his toy drive towards the ball. Overall, Hunter was a very, very good boy. He loves working. He loves learning. He catches on super quick. I do believe he's a very high drive dog, so he would do very well with a job. I know we talked and we weren't super sure what kind of job he would be good at because he's a herding breed. He was not keen on my chickens, which is fine, but I think he would do very well with a retriever type of job. His hunt drive and his toy drive are super high up there, so we can talk more about that. I would get him started on nose work if you wanted to. It's a super fun game, and I think he would catch on really, really quick. Unfortunately, my nose work stuff did not come in the mail quick enough. It was delayed, but I would be happy to send you videos and information and work on that. But he was a very good boy. I think you could definitely do higher level obedience with him, and I do think that practicing obedience with him would be a good job for him as well because it works his brain. And he enjoys it, so it's a win-win.